we have to take the budget into consideration. From what I heard, Olympiacos, they had something around 8 million euro budget for players.
For salaries only.
Panathinaikos, their budget was something around 5.5. So, it would be unfair to compare these teams, not taking this into consideration. And we're not even doing that. But that explains some things, trying to talk about Panathinaikos problem. But I still think that they could use this money smarter.
Of course. I mean, I'm sorry, but 2.5 million euros difference is significant, but it's not something that means you don't stand a chance.
Maybe in Greece it looks significant, but because they were used to big money. They were big spenders 10 years ago, paying huge money for the top European players. Now they're in a different situation, different league. But we're from Lithuania. We know better about budget restrictions.
I think with 5.5 million euros for players' salaries, you can still build a better team than they have right now. I mean, you have Nemanja Nedovic. You're thinking he's a star player on the roster. You know that he's injury prone. But if you already have Nemanja Nedovic, then you need a true point guard.
Exactly.
And you're bringing in Daryl Macon
and Kendrick Perry, unproven guards, rookie guards.
It's a team of individuals. They don't have a leader. They don't have a point guard. Papapetru is supposed to be the face of the team and the leader, but he's a small forward. It's kind of difficult for him to be the decisive player, the decider of the games when Nedovic and Macon are doing their thing. Okay, you have Papagiannis as a good center, as a good big, but you see him playing 37 minutes. It shouldn't be like this. You should have some backups. You should have, you should invest smarter. They didn't sign good American players, in my opinion. And for the lower budget teams, the main thing is always to hit the jackpot with the Americans that you're signing, whether it will be 3 players, 4 players, but you have to be smart in the market. For me, it looks like they just simply went for random players with some statistics that they had in their previous teams, and now you're 17th in the standings, and you deserve to be there, to be honest. So the money, I understand it's an issue, but you can use the money a lot better than they did.
I completely agree.
I mean, they brought Dimitris Priftis. That seems to be a good coach.
Probably it was the best available coach from Greece.
But with this roster, what can you expect from him?
I mean, maybe they were expecting something like he did in Kazan. He was doing really great in Kazan with many individuals, and somehow he managed to make a team of them. But to be honest, it was all programmed. I mean, before this EuroLeague season, when we saw the roster, when we saw all these individuals, I saw that a few weeks ago, probably, it was reported that they were close to sign Stefan Jovic, which actually makes sense. Finally, it's a true floor general who also can play defense, and that's the player. Actually, Panathinaikos needed Thomas Walkup type of player, and the same as Olympiacos, and they did a move for him. So I was really surprised that if you have Nedovic, I'm okay with Nedovic if you have a solid floor general who can play defense.
And Nedovic then plays as a combo guard,
yes,
so it works.
But now you have Macon, now you have Kendrick Perry. I agree completely about Papapetru. I love Papapetru as the face of the locker room, of the culture, and in my eyes, he's a very good asset or helper who has at least 1 or 2 superstars on that team. And but these superstars, they cannot be Nedovic, Papagiannis, Macon. They have to be really solid players. And as you mentioned, it's really hard to find the small forwards as go-to guys. Probably we have only Will Clyburn as an example in the EuroLeague. So that's tough. I feel bad for them that they couldn't keep Dinos Mitoglou. It's a very important local player. I like his character, his hustle, his skill, and everything. And that was probably the problem with the budget. They couldn't keep him. They couldn't compete against Milan. But all the things they did, you could really do better.
Daryl Macon, for example, he's a scorer.
Lost their identity. At first, Kalaitis was that last guy who kind of connected the previous era of Panathinaikos, the greatness of Panathinaikos, and this new era, and Panathinaikos tried to build around him. And it was okay because with Kalaitis you were almost the playoff team. But the problem is that, okay, I understand that they didn't have enough money to keep him in Athens because Barcelona, they were spending a lot for him. But the mistake they did, that they fired Xavi Pascal because that was their decision. You know, Kalaitis, okay, there are some consequences, some conditions, some situations you cannot control. Xavi Pascal's case was in their hands. And I remember I was talking to Manos Papadopoulos, the former Panathinaikos GM, and he told that as managers, sometimes we repeat the same big mistake. And not only in Greece, we want to build a team without a big coach, and it's impossible. If you don't have the great coach, it's impossible to build a big team. And they found some quick success with Rick Pitino at first. They made the playoffs that year when Pitino came, but they were swept by Real Madrid. They didn't have any chance. And I'm not saying Priftis is a bad coach. Again, I'm just saying that he's one of the, probably he's the best available Greek coach for this Panathinaikos team. He deserved this chance because he was doing really great with Kazan. And I think he's a good person, good coach. He just needs some time to adjust. And he needs a better team to compete in Europe. But you had such a great coach like Xavi Pascal. I mean, they were doing bad that year when they decided to fire him. Probably let's say, it was hard for him as well to deal with Dimitris Giannakopoulos and all these bus rides from Turkey after some games they lost. But even if you had a bad season, just finish it and it started from the scratch. And you have a person, a personality, a character, a specialist to build around. If Kalaitis is going somewhere else, you can trust Xavi Pascal. Look what he's doing at Zenit. In any situation, any team he had, any changes he had to face, he's dealing with it. He's doing great job. He's readjusting, and again, he's competing for the playoffs and maybe even more. So that's why I feel bad about Panathinaikos.
Yeah, I agree with you.